Online specialist clothing retailer ASOS saw its stock rise around 10% today in the wake of first half earnings that looked on the surface to be a bit of a disappointment. Pre-tax profit fell a whopping 87% to just £4 million, largely due to costs associated with an investment programme that's expected to ease up next year. It's also cutting capital spending. On the bright side, revenues were up some 14%. With more now, we're joined now by Chloe Collins, retail analyst at Global Data. Welcome.
Hi.
What was your takeaway from these figures?
So I think even though the original profit number loss seems scary, I actually think it's still one of the success stories within retail, ASOS. I think it's still doing really well. The fact that it's got that sales revenue growth compared to the rest of the market, I think is really good. I believe what they're saying about the investment. So they've just opened a warehouse in Atlanta just to better serve their US customers. And they've also worked on developing their EU hub massively to make it on the same scale as what London is in terms of efficiency. So I think they've invested in all that, and it's going to benefit them in the second half of the year and further going forward.
That certainly seems to be the message. I'm talking about here Nick Baton, the CEO and founder. He said this morning, along with that message, he said that ASOS is capable of a lot more. What's he mean by that? I mean, it's been in the market now, was not too far away from 20 years, I think, really. But it is an online specialist. It was had first mover advantage, of course. But what more does he want to do in order to get to where he wants to be?
So I think, so the results said that the own branded sales this year were actually quite disappointing. They were plus 5% compared to the top line, which was plus 14. So I think there's definitely a lot of work to be done around that area. I think they need to review how much newness they have on offer, review the price points, and maybe introduce some new departments, like maybe like children's wear. They've just released a homewares collections. Maybe they could build on that. It's got a lot bigger since when it first launched. And I think in terms of third party for them, which is really, really strong, they've just announced that they're bringing on the brand Under the Stories, which no other retailer stocks in terms of, apart from the Under the Stories single stores. So I think that's a really USP for them and a real driver for their market.
One of the other things I'm interested in as well, ASOS recently changed its returns policy to try and avoid what they say are serial returners, these people that buy large bulk of an order and then, of course, return the vast majority of them. How much of a problem is that for the company? Because there doesn't seem to be a restriction as to how much you order or indeed how much you send back.
I think with every retailer, they're going to have some disgenuine customers that I think could return things when maybe they've worn them, and I think then that affects their profits because they can't resell those goods. But what's interesting with the returns policies, they've also extended the amount of time that you have to return items. So it used to be up to 28 days, and now you can go up to 45 days and you just get a gift voucher rather than the money back in your purse. So I think they've captured it by having that negative part that they're going to start cracking down on the serial returners, but also they're actually treating their genuine customers even better by giving them that option. And I think that's something that the competition doesn't really offer right now. So I think it's just there to protect their profits. I think they would have always been monitoring it, but maybe they've just seen more of an increase with online retail growing so much.
Let's talk about that competition, because as I said just a couple of questions ago that ASOS had first mover advantage online. Of course, it did compete, I know at the time, with Next Directory, which was mail order and so forth. But what about the competition? You've explained why ASOS is how it's moving forward, but other companies are moving forward, perhaps possibly maybe at a faster rate in order to catch up. But are there companies you think that could actually end up taking market share away from ASOS?
So I think there's obviously new online pure plays like Boohoo, Misguided, Pretty Little Thing. I think the competition is there, but I think ASOS serves a really wide customer base across a wide range of products, which not everybody else can offer. So Global Data has got the market share this year to grow for ASOS of total clothing to 2.2% from 2% last year. And in terms of online clothing sales, we're taking it to grow to 7.5 from 7.2. So we still believe it's going to grow, even though the competition is there. I think they've got the establishment there and they've got the loyal customers. So 21% of their customers are signed up to ASOS Premier, which is the loyalty delivery scheme. So I think they've got that following there, and I think the customers will stay with them. And I think they offer a better range.
As I said at the top, ASOS rose about 10% today. Let's take a look at the share price. There's a gap that opened up here at the back end of last year where there's a profit warning. Since then, shares have started to rise. But the general retail environment, as we know here in the UK, is a little fragile, to put it mildly, especially bricks and mortar. ASOS doesn't have that problem. But what about the outlook from here, what is it we should be concerned about that could affect the likes of ASOS in the near future?
I think the main thing at the moment for everybody is Brexit. I think obviously for the UK base especially, and even the deals they have with the EU, I think that's going to be a bit of a concern for them, especially with it being delayed now, potentially being a longer time until we exit. I think that's going to be the main thing for them at the moment. But I think just in general, I think online retail is just massively growing. So I think where they sit in that sector, I think they are safe. I do think they'll be doing well going forward.
Yeah, I know you can't talk about the share price, so I won't ask you about that, but thanks indeed for your time, Chloe. It's been a pleasure talking to you about those ASOS results and the uplift in the share price as a result of the half-yearly earnings that we saw released from the company earlier on today. That was Chloe Collins from Global Data.